Okay, so I don't have so many years of active driving, consistent active driving yet, but I think with the few experience I have, I can talk on some things on how people drive in Lagos, and some things I've learned, and some advice on how driving can be a little bit better. Right, this is just me talking from my own experience, how I would do things, or how I would approach things depending on the situation. Driving is more of a quick thinking type of thing. I mean, you're thinking, maybe you don't know it actively, but there are minor decisions you're making every second that you're driving, right? Whether to turn right or turn left, or brake or slow down, things that you have to quickly think on your feet, pun intended, right? Think on your feet. And there are things that you don't even have the allowance to think on your feet. It would be best if you already foresee the incident, right? There are some situations that, okay, you can just think fast and just make the decision, right? As I'm currently going, I could decide that, okay, I want to turn right, but I'll be like, okay, this right is already choked there, so let me just still follow straight. Or now that this one has waited, I look into my mirror, it's free, I decide to change lanes like this, right, and just keep moving forward. So there are decisions you can make like that, but there are decisions that you can't just make like that. You need to have seen what's going on before you make that decision, and that works more when you're moving faster. So this is just a slow decision, right, I just made right now. But what if you're speeding on an expressway, you're moving very fast? The decisions that, fine, you can make some things in a split second, but sometimes the best decisions are those you've already foreseen, right? That, okay, I've seen that trailer by this side, I think the trailer is slowing down, I need to move to this side. Or there's just an impatient driver speeding on my tail, right? Let me just keep my lane and just slow down for the person to pass. Or there's a bump in front that, okay, I've seen, right, and I need to slow down in case like nobody is even in front of you, and you need to, if you don't see that bump now, some things might help you if someone is already before you and you see them slow down. But what if you're just the one leading the way, and right, there's nobody slowing down for you to see the bump? If you don't see the bump early, then you can just like crash into that bump very aggressively, and you could lose control of your steering and things like that, right? Okay, so enough said. That's just a preamble to say that, okay, I mean, if you're a driver, you know this, we all know this, right? That driving is just it's just a bunch of decisions that you make. It's just a bunch of tiny decisions that you make in every second of your driving. Yeah, so there's number one thing, I will just go straight into, like, well, maybe a few things that I really know. Maybe if I get to see some while I'm currently driving. So one thing I noticed that some drivers, well, not all drivers, but some drivers too, that doesn't help the drivers behind them, is when you trafficate late, right? When you trafficate late, that does not help. It does not help the drivers behind you. So for instance, say you're moving and you're going to turn right very soon. You're going to turn right very soon, right? It's not until you get to the junction where you're turning right that you now trafficate right. That is very wrong, because people that, I mean, the motorists that are already following you think you are still going straight. They think you are still going straight, right? And they are still behind you. Now, you just trafficating right mean that they have to now find a way to try to change their lane late at that point in time. Try to change their lane very late and try to maybe turn left since you're already turning right. That would just form like a short queue behind you, right? But if you have notified, okay, you're turning right, and maybe I think my advice is depend on, so now this also depends on the speed with which you're moving, right? Because that will determine, okay, the trafficating distance. That's what I think I'm going to call it, right? If you're moving at a fairly decent amount of speed, right, I think is best. If you're moving, sorry, I need to move fast. If you're moving at a fairly decent amount of speed, it is best if you trafficate at least 200 meters, right? At least 200 meters. That, okay, you're going to turn right or turn left, whatever the case may be. At least 200 meters you should turn. That's if you're moving at a fairly decent amount of speed, right? Now, if you're moving like in a very, maybe the cars are bumper to bumper, you're moving very slow, well, 200 meters might be like a long distance to start trafficating from, right? 200 meters might be like very long to start trafficating from, because you're still in hold up like I am like this, you're still in traffic. So I would say maybe, well, something less than 200 meters. You could say maybe 150 or 100 or thereabout, right? That would be my advice on that. And of course, if you're moving like very, very fast, say you're on an expressway and you're moving at a great amount of speed, right, and you would turn right or maybe turn left in like 1 kilometer or whatever, right? Once you reach that 500 meter mark at the least, once you reach 500 meters, you should start trafficating. You should start trafficating once you reach 500 meters. Now, since you're moving at a very, very fast speed, so, and of course, I believe you must have been on your lane already, right? Before you even say you want to trafficate at that distance, you must have been on your lane already, right? So that's what that means. Let me allow these people to pass. So that's my one tip about trafficking that I've noticed. I've experienced it a number of times where I'm following a car driver and they just tell me they're trafficking. I'm like, oh, this is not supposed to be. Why are you just telling me? Like, so say this person now has told me he's trafficking. What ideally I'm supposed to do is just slow down, because I'm not passing